So I'm delighted to be in a position to share with you some of the insights from GFT's latest research with respect to our retail banking clients globally. The main thrust of our research was to understand what are the hot topics in retail banking as banks start to consider much more strongly their approaches and strategies for the digital economy. Broadly, three themes have arisen for us from this survey around digitalisation itself and how banks are embracing those challenges. Banking as a platform, as a strategic imperative for a number of institutions in terms of how they see the need for them to reshape their propositions to meet those challenges, and increasingly interest which is building very substantially around cognitive banking, around artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc., as banks come to terms with the need to process and derive value and insight from increasingly large amounts of available data. I suppose the headline for digitalisation itself is that pretty much most of the institutions that we've spoken to, are very much aware of this as a challenge, and that within the Tier 1 space, programs are well in advance in terms of thinking and structures and approach and strategy. Within the Tier 2 space, the picture is a little bit more mixed, with a reasonably large minority of Tier 2 institutions just beginning to consider their digitalisation approach as such, and with quite a way to go in terms of execution. Perhaps as a response to the digitalisation pressures for many institutions, we're seeing a large number of institutions have embraced very rapidly banking as a platform, as a strategy. This desire to ensure customer engagement excellence and customer order taking excellence separated from service components such as core banking have been driving that agenda quite substantially, being able to separate concerns from the customer experience against the core engines of a financial service institution. Solutions such as FIDO, of course, have popularized this kind of approach to ensure more rapid assimilation of new services and new ways of engaging with customers. We've also seen that as a result of banking as a platform, there is an increasing desire to look at cloud technologies, open API technologies as enablers to enforce that new approach. This notion of a bank as a series of brands is becoming increasingly resonant in the market. And perhaps last but not least, we see an increasing trend towards cognitive banking, the desire for artificial intelligence with respect to the tools and capabilities to derive value from increasingly large amounts of data is certainly on the up. Certainly within our survey, we see a desire. It's still, I'd say, at an early stage for many institutions in terms of the amount of effort and investment that's going into artificial intelligence, but it's certainly a theme that is resonating strongly, and it plays into the general digitalisation agenda, which is going to be increasingly about how information is put to good use to derive value for organisations. And that's not just selling of data, but it's about targeting customers and identifying the right needs and value for customers. So in conclusion, we're seeing that digitalisation is the vision being embraced by financial service organisations. Banking as a platform is a key strategic imperative to realise that vision, and artificial intelligence is being embraced to manage increasing amounts of data that results from digitalisation.